Hi everybody, it's Claire with another art journal video for the ScrapFX design team. So again, I'm playing in the junk journal craft kit and adding some of the black dots rice paper to the background. I'm using some gel medium to stick this in place. Adding some of this in to just initially start to break up the background and just get rid of that blank page. It's a great way to start if you are a little bit unnerved by the blank page. A good thing to do is to slap some collage paper down, and it's a good way to get rid of that initial fear. So then I'm going in with some ruby. I've gone for quite a warm colour palette with this page. I've been wondering more recently, as I've noticed I've been using more warm colours in my journaling, if it's to do with the fact that here in the UK it's winter and it's cold, and I'm wondering whether that's why I'm subconsciously choosing warm colours. I'm not sure. So I've used also tangerine and permanent red violet light from Amsterdam acrylic. As you know, that's my favourite pink, and just adding some of those colours onto the page. And here I'm just using a bit of paper towel, and I'm just kind of blotting some of it off. Then I'm going in with a bit of lemon as well, adding some more of those lovely warm tones onto that background. So then I'm using this stencil that I've designed for ScrapFX called Believe You Can, and I'm adding some black gesso through this stencil using a makeup sponge, making sure I've not got too much on my sponge, mostly because it's quite there's quite fine details in this stencil, and as you know, if you have too much paint it bleeds underneath and it can really spoil the final look of your stenciling, which with a stencil like this I kind of wanted it to be nice and crisp, so not too much paint going on there to start off with. The only reason I'm using black gesso is because I am out of ordinary black paint, and I just think black gesso works just as well, so use what you've got. So while I was stenciling through this, I kept lifting it whilst holding it in place just to check underneath and see if there was anywhere where I'd missed or anywhere that needed darkening up at all. It's a good thing to do while you're stenciling if you are wanting that kind of crisp looking stencil when you've finished. So then this is the Imagine Phrase stencil, also from ScrapFX, and I'm going to be adding some of the text from this stencil onto my journal page. So I was working out where it was going to work best to start off with, and I started off adding it all across the top of the page, and then realised that wasn't really going to work like that, so I had to use a baby wipe and just wipe it away, because it was all still wet, so it was fairly easy to get rid of. But I thought I'd leave this bit in for you to see how sometimes you know, you can start doing something and realise it's not quite working, and if it's still wet then you can more easily remove what you've done, but using a baby wipe is the best way. This was where I realised it wasn't going to work, that the word was going to either get stuck in the head or lower down it was going to be too big a gap. So look, it's just wiping away really easily. Then gave it a quick dry, and then decided I would space the words more going down the side, the left-hand side of the page. And this worked much better. And even here you notice the end of the word courage has gone into the face stenciling. I wasn't particularly worried about that because I knew I was going to add some white drop shadows to the words anyway, so that would help them to pop out from the background. Now I'm just using the cross confetti stencil and adding some stenciling using some of the same colours that I've added into the background. So just building up the mark making that's on the background of the page too. And here I'm using a Signo Uniball in white and just adding that drop shadow to those words. You can see it really just makes them stand out a lot more from the background. It does give them a bit of a 3D effect. So next I'm using the X's and O's stamp, which is also from ScrapFX, just with a bit of black archival ink, and just adding a few of those onto the background too. Just building up those marks that are there. And then again, I'm going in with my Signo Uniball in white, doing some more mark making, some more crosses and dots onto that page just to help bring more interest into the background. And then finally, I just used a pink Posca pen and added some splatters onto the background, again keeping in the same colour palette. And that was the page finished. So another page completed in this Kraft Junk Journal kit. Soon it'll be finished and I'll be doing a flip through of it. But I'm really loving working in it. It's great to work in. I love the different sizes of the pages. So there we go, there is the finished page. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again at the end of January with another project for the design team for ScrapFX.